Money in the Bank is this Saturday live from Los Angeles, and we have got to drop our official predictions for all four matches on the card right here, right now. So let's do it. I'm also going to be putting these matches in order based on how I think they will be during the actual show. First up, we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa versus Penta versus El Grande Americano versus Andrade versus Seth freaking Rollins. Now, I'll put somewhere here on the screen, I made a whole video talking about this match. I was going to dissect both the men's and the women's in separate videos than this one, but with Money in the Bank being this weekend, I want to get out my full predictions as quickly as possible. But I did do a men's video. I'll put it somewhere here for you to be able to click on and do more of an in-depth breakdown of what this match means for a couple of these superstars, in particularly LA Knight. Now, this field to me is a little bit top heavy. It's definitely more top heavy than the women's side of things for this Money in the Bank, because I really do think there's only going to be two potential winners in this match in LA Knight and Seth Rollins. I really don't think that any of these other participants have, I won't say have a chance, but I don't see any of them winning. My dark horse pick in my other video was Andrade, just because I really see him as a future world champion if they want to make him that. I just think he has star potential. Will he fulfill that potential? I do not know, but I think he has star potential. He had an excellent run in NXT. I could see him having a good run in WWE as well as a champion, but to me, this is LA Knight's time. And since I made that video predicting the match, I've been sitting with it more and thinking about it. And I just think, man, I really think this is going to be LA Knight's time. He's put in the work. He's done what he's had to do. All the momentum, everything is pointing in his favor. And to me, this is LA Knight's match to lose, really. And Seth Rollins, I think, is going to be an eventual world champion again. I don't know if he needs the Money in the Bank briefcase to get there. So it comes down to me of, are they ready to pull the trigger on LA Knight? Are they finally ready? Yeah, got to throw at least one of those in there. Yeah, another one. Are they ready to put LA Knight finally in that main event picture where I do think he deserves, especially after the push they've given Jey Uso? I think LA Knight deserves that as well, because I think he is better in some areas than Jey Uso is. I do think he's a little bit smoother in the ring, especially as a singles competitor. Jey is obviously very popular with the kids and things like that, and I totally get that. But LA Knight is still getting some pretty big reactions on SmackDown weekly. And ever since he lost the United States title at WrestleMania, I really just thought that they had him lose that match to Jacob Fatu because it's time to catapult him into the next level. And so with Money in the Bank being pushed back next year, I could see this being a long run with the briefcase for LA Knight, but I do think LA Knight's going to win this match. I think it's going to be a pretty solid match overall. I don't know if it's going to be a match we are writing home about, talking about 5 years from now, like some of the other Money in the Bank matches, although it could be, because there's some guys in this match like El Grande Americano, like Penta, like Andrade, who I think are going to be out with a lot to prove and are pretty awesome in the ring. So I'm excited to see some of the crazy stuff that they do. But all the momentum in this match really is pointing towards Mr. LA Knight to get what I would think is the biggest win of his career. Next up, we have Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkiria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And in this match, there is a stipulation that if Becky Lynch does win, Lyra Valkiria has to raise her hand and basically say, you were better than me, and now I am the champion because you suck. That's basically the point of it. So for this match, I will say I wasn't really into this too much when they first did it. I'm not a huge Lyra Valkiria guy. I will certainly admit that. I do like Becky Lynch. I like Lyra Valkiria in the ring. I don't know if her coming out with the bird gimmick, looking like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, That I'm not a huge fan of, but I do think that she is really good in the ring. And this rivalry, allowing her to be more aggressive, be more of herself, to me has elevated her, which is the point of putting a young, rising superstar in a rivalry with someone like a Becky Lynch, like an OG. And so I think this has done a lot for Lyra Valkiria. Their first match was really solid as well, and they've done a good job of getting people excited for this one as well. And personally, I've been getting more and more into this every week. I think they did a good job last Monday on Raw, getting people excited for this. I was surprised, like I think a lot of people, that there wasn't some sort of stipulation in this match other than the hand raising if Becky Lynch wins. I thought we were going to see a street fight, a steel cage, something like that. Probably not a steel cage, but maybe like a street fight, at least a no holds bar match, something like that. Last woman standing potentially, but we didn't get any of that for this one. And that's what makes me think that I don't know if there's going to be a finish to this match. Now, I am going to officially predict a winner here in a moment, but I would not be surprised if this is some sort of like double count out DQ situation that sets up a third match between these two, because I don't think it's going to be the last match between Lyra Valkiria and Becky Lynch. I do believe this is going to go on, and so I do think this is also going to have a stipulation attached to it at some point. So if we're going to get there at some point, then double count out, some sort of weird finish in this match sets up that third grudge rubber match between the two. And I will pick a winner for this match. I'm not going to take an easy cop out of like a double count out, although I think that is probably my like official prediction, but I'm going to pick a winner, and I think Becky Lynch is going to win this match. Personally, again, I think we're going to get more out of these two, but I think Becky Lynch is going to win this match, and then I could see Lyra Valkiria, she, raising her hand at the end of this, and then after she's done, Becky attacking her, or maybe she goes to raise her hand, but then she beats her up as well, similar to how Becky did at the end of their first match, where Lyra beat her, but then Becky beat her up after. Could see that kind of roles reversed, because I think we're seeing a little more aggressive side of Lyra Valkiria in this rivalry. So again, I don't know if we're going to have a finish to this. They don't really do many of those anymore, though, where there's like no finish on a PLE. But for this one, I definitely could see a world where there's no finish. It sets up a third and final match, maybe on a Raw. Maybe they drag it out to SummerSlam, although that would be a little ways away. But I do think Becky Lynch gets this win. Next up, we have what I think is the most intriguing match on this card, which is the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have 6 superstars who I think you can make a case for any of them to win this match, which always makes this match so fascinating. For this Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Rhea Ripley versus Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez versus Naomi versus Julia versus Stephanie Vicaire. Now, this match, again, to me is so interesting and so fascinating. I really think you can make a case for all 6 of these women, maybe possibly outside of Julia, and I do think Alexa Bliss is probably a long shot, but you could easily make the case, I think, for all 6 of these women to win this match. That's what makes this match so fascinating in so many different ways, and I cannot wait to break this down. So looking at the participants in this match, it's kind of interesting to me just how they've separated kind of some, I guess, OGs at this point, you would call an Alexa Bliss. I know she left and came back, but she's still an OG. She's been around the block. You have Naomi, same, left and came back, been around the block. And then, of course, Rhea Ripley, the most over and popular women wrestler that they have, against the new blood. These are 3 women that they called up pretty quickly, in my opinion. And Julia, Roxanne Perez, probably not as quickly, but Julia and Stephanie Vicaire, they have called up super quickly. And so, to me, the question is, how excited and how much do they want to push both of them, and how quickly do they want to push both of them? Julia, I think her reactions haven't been great since she's been caught up, but Stephanie Vicaire's have been really good, and she is really popular, and is going to be really popular really fast with the public. She's awesome in the ring, got a great look to her. She is the total package, in my opinion. And we'll be excited to see her performance. She's doing double duty because she is going to be working Worlds Collide. And so she's going to be working earlier and she's going to be working later. So a little double duty. Interested to see how she comes out of this day overall, because I think overall she's going to come out of this day probably looking pretty awesome. So I'm excited for her and for the fans, more general fans who aren't watching a lot of NXT, to really get a glimpse of all of these ladies, but in particularly Stephanie Vaquer, and seeing how awesome that she is and just that aura that she has to her. It's very gravitational, and it's going to be really interesting to see her in the ring with stars and how much gravity does she carry in the ring when she's in the ring with like a Naomi and Alexa Bliss, and in particular a Rhea Ripley. Rhea's going to be the center focus of this match because she is the biggest star in this match and one of the biggest stars in the company. She has never won the Money in the Bank briefcase before. So if you're making the case for Rhea Ripley, the case really is that she has not won this before. This is a very easy way for her to get back into the title picture and be world champion again. And if you're just mapping this out for WrestleMania 42, let's just play this out for a second. So if Rhea Ripley wins this match, and then let's just say she holds the briefcase for a couple months, let's just say until the later in the year, into the winter time, before the Royal Rumble, she cashes in and becomes world champion. I do think that WrestleMania, we really are destined for a Bianca Belair Rhea Ripley singles match. Now, there's a lot of other matches they could do. They are absolutely stacked in the women's division, right? You have Stephanie, all the women in this match, and you don't even have like a Liv Morgan, a Jade Cargill. There's so many other ones, right? And more probably to come from NXT. They're loaded with women. The women's division is stacked. But we still have not gotten a Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair singles match. And that match to me is the money. That is the match that I think needs to happen. That is two pillars of your women's division for the last couple years as well as into the future. They're stars. They're, to me, the two biggest women's stars that they have. Now, you could throw in Liv Morgan. She's put in the work to get up in that conversation. I don't think Charlotte is in that conversation anymore. I don't think like Bayley's in that conversation really at all. So I really do think they kind of are almost on a tier of their own, because you have to look at the longevity of what they've done and what they're still going to do. And we need that singles match, right? Like, they've danced around it. I thought we were going to have it last year at WrestleMania 41. I was excited. I was disappointed when they went with a triple threat, although it was a great match. I know a lot of you love Io Sky, and I need to mention her as well as someone who is rising in the women's division, already been a champion multiple times. But I do think they need to do Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair in just singles competition. That's it. Just a singles match. So, if we're mapping out a Rhea Ripley win here, she could win, cash in. Bianca could then, I guess she'd have to win the Royal Rumble twice. Maybe she doesn't win it, but she wins Elimination Chamber. Well, no, she didn't win Royal Rumble last year. She won Elimination Chamber. So maybe she wins the Rumble this year. I don't know. Maybe they just find a way to make that match happen. And they're always going to be excited, one, to have Rhea Ripley as champion going into WrestleMania, and two, for the pop that she's going to get when she cashes in and wins the world title back. I don't know if they're going to be able to help themselves because they love a cheap Rhea Ripley pop. Triple H definitely loves that. I also wouldn't be totally shocked if we saw a Stephanie Vaquer or a Roxanne Perez win. Just depends how quickly they want to strap the rocket to them. I've seen people predicting Roxanne Perez. I don't think she's going to win this match, but I could see a case in a world in which both her or Stephanie Vaquer do win. I don't see a world in which Alexa Bliss or Julia win this match, but I think that they're both going to come out of it looking pretty good. And lastly, we have to talk about Naomi, because Naomi is putting in some of the best work of her career right now. She is doing some amazing stuff. Ever since she has turned heel, she's just been awesome, and she's really elevating herself, and she's doing a great job with this character. She's doing a great job in the ring, like she always does, really. To me, she's one of the most underrated wrestlers that we have right now in the WWE. I don't really think she's appreciated as much as she should be. She's pretty fantastic in the ring, in my opinion. So Naomi's doing some really great work right now. She has a lot of momentum going into this match. I don't know if she would necessarily be like the favorite if we were doing fake wrestling betting, which obviously we can't do, but can we please be able to bet on fake wrestling one day? Probably not, but it would be fun, right? No, probably not. We'd probably all lose a lot of money. Let me take that back. But I think Rhea would probably be the favorite, but Naomi would be second, and that's a testament to Naomi. Again, she's done amazing work. She really, really has. The landscape of this match is great, and I think this match is going to be the match of the night. I think it's going to be the best match on the card. There's only 4 matches. We're in the Triple H era. 4 matches on a PLE is just absolutely insane, and I feel like I probably need to make another video about that because that's a 15-minute rant in itself. I can't stress how little of a fan I am of 4 matches on a PLE. That's just absolutely ridiculous, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a moment when I get to the main event. But all 6 of these women can win this match. I know I had said I don't see a world in which Julia or Alexa Bliss can win, but they could, right? I mean, realistically, they could. Like in the men's side, I just don't see a world in which Solo can win that match. Just personally, I don't see a world in which Solo can win that match. I don't really see a world in which Penta really wins that match either, or El Grande Americano. Again, I could totally be wrong. That's the thing about Money in the Bank. It is at times predictable and other times unpredictable. It just is about who they want to strap that rocket to and make a potential next world champion. And in this case, in the women's side, I'm going to go ahead and predict that Naomi will win this match and be Miss Money in the Bank. It's very, very well deserved. Okay, last but not least, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about it. John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. It has been reported that this will be the main event, so it was easy to predict this card because there's only 4 matches, and you know this is going to be the main event, so you're only predicting 3. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? I don't know. But, okay, let's start out with this match. Why is this match happening? And who is this match for? I would argue this match is for the people that are attending, so they can see Cody Rhodes and John Cena, and Jey Uso to an extent, but Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Okay, so I've answered my own question of why I think this match is happening, or who this match is for. Why is this match happening though? Like, what is the point of this? Where does this go? Because is Logan Paul a long-term rivalry that Jey Uso is about to enter? Is that the point of this? Because clearly you can see the Cody Rhodes John Cena is happening again, and I think that Cena is going to lose the belt to Cody down the line. I think Cody's going to be champion again. To me, this is temporary because of everything that's going on with John Cena and his retirement tour, which made total sense for them to do. But I just don't really know what the point of this match is, to be honest with you. Like, John Cena and Logan Paul have had no interactions together at all. Okay. I guess they tried to explain it a little bit with John Cena being like, man, if Logan Paul was world champion, that would also ruin wrestling because he's not an actual wrestler and people hate him. So that's the angle they're trying to take with why those two would be aligned. I just think that's a dumb angle. I think that's really stupid. I just think that's really, really stupid. So I'm not on board with that one. Not a fan of that. And just not a fan of this match. I don't think this match is going to be very good, to be honest. Again, I just think it's for people who are in attendance. And that's pretty much it. And when you have a match with your WWE champion and your world champion in a tag match for nothing on the line, no stakes whatsoever, which again, it is reported that this is the main event. So it's reported this is the main event. There's nothing on the line. There's no stakes at all. Literally nothing. So that's a fun main event. Unless something's going to happen at the end of this where The Rock or somebody comes out, which I doubt. I'm not holding my breath at this point of that happening. If it does, and it makes sense story-wise, by the way, Dwayne, then it makes sense why this is the main event. Doesn't really make sense for the match, but makes sense why this is the main event. But when you have your two world champions in this tag match, you can't have them defending their belts on this card then. And so you've pigeonholed yourself to not having a world title match or a WWE title match at all on this card. And then they just don't really have the mid-card people doing much. I mean, Jacob Fatu's been doing a little bit, but it's like solos in this match, so they're not going to have them fight each other yet anyway. It seems like they're saving that. So, I don't know. I'm honestly really at a loss for words of this match. And it comes back to a larger point and a larger discussion about this John Cena run, this John Cena heel turn, and this run. I have to do a whole separate video on, and I will probably within the next week, because they've missed the mark so many times and with so many different things in this heel run. And it's not been great. The matches have not been great, but honestly, the Randy Orton match was not bad. It really was not bad. And it showed to me like John Cena can still do some stuff. He doesn't need to be treated like he's just going to work kind of this slow pace that he's still getting comfortable with, but he's not wrestling a lot. He's never worked it before. And then the Randy Orton match was cool. They at least did some table spots and some different things. But then, of course, you had the ref bump, which you knew was coming a mile away. And then the Travis Scott thing, which was terrible. So it's like, oh, man, the heel run is going to be dissected in another longer video. So a little bit of a tease there, right? Don't want to give away too much, but that will be coming. So stay tuned for that. But they've missed the mark with this John Cena heel turn run so far. And it's June. So we're getting to the end of it. John Cena has to turn back before the end of this. So when is that going to be? Again, we'll discuss that in another video. That we'll discuss it in another video. But having your two world champions in a tag match, just no bueno. No bueno. This is the main event. This is not good. John Cena probably has one more person on the checklist, right, of people that we need to kind of see him fight. Now, obviously, there's more. Like, I wish I could have saw him fight some of the younger guys, but that's not the world that we're in. We're in the money-making, the big draw business. What's the biggest match we can put on? What's the biggest match possible? And CM Punk is the obvious last remaining person that John Cena has to face, right? He has to face him. CM Punk's currently a babyface. John Cena's currently a heel. That's an easy story to tell. They've already hinted at it a little bit on Raw last week, but then CM Punk lost. He's not in this Money in the Bank match. He's furthering whatever he's doing with Seth Rollins. So when are we getting that match? And how does this match make that match happen? Because my guess would be SummerSlam, would be CM Punk and John Cena at the main event of Night 2 of SummerSlam. That's a huge match. But as of right now, I don't see how that match is possible, to be honest with you. How do they get to that? And again, it goes back. Where is this tag match going to take these four superstars after this match? Like, where is this going? Is Cody Rhodes... Okay, here's a way we could flip this, right? Jey Uso is fighting Gunther on Monday. So let's kind of take that out, and maybe that's where this Jey Uso thing goes for a little bit. Maybe something happens during that match with somebody. I don't think it'll be anybody in this match, right? Maybe then Logan Paul and maybe somebody else, maybe not, beat up Cody Rhodes, and it's like Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes for a month, like at SummerSlam, and then they find a way for John Cena to get into something with CM Punk. I'm spitballing. I'm trying to find connections in this match. I just don't see it. I don't really know why this match is happening. It doesn't really make any sense. I feel like I'm going to leave this match. I'm going into this match and going to leave this match having a lot more questions than answers for all four of these people. And that's not a good feeling and not a good thing. So my official prediction for who's going to win this match, I think Cody and Jey are going to win this match. Again, the originator of the yeet was Cody and Jey as a tag champs. We know that. And I think they're going to win this match. But I really have no idea why it's happening. And I'm interested to see if any fallout comes of this, if anything happens after the match. I'm more interested, honestly, in like the minute after this, if something happens, right? That's what to me was more intriguing than the actual match. Like, is Travis Scott going to be there? Is The Rock going to be there? Is someone I can't think of going to be there? Surprise, like, who knows? But it's not great. It's not great right now. There's no excitement for this match for me other than I love Cody Rhodes and I'm enjoying every second I can of getting John Cena on my television. Other than that, I really have zero interest in this, but maybe they'll rope me in and by the end of it, I'll be all back in and we'll have a clearer picture on the road to SummerSlam for all four of these guys. All right, so that's it. Official predictions are done. Money in the Bank 2025. I will be going back on here after Money in the Bank to give my Raw reactions. I won't be live, but I'll be dropping it like shortly after the PLE. Worst case in the morning. We'll just kind of see how late it goes and things like that. But I'll probably try and drop it that night. So keep an eye out for that. We'll have some more videos dropping throughout the week. This week, let me know in the comments section down below. What are your predictions for Money in the Bank? Whether it's just who you think is going to win, whether it's like a bold prediction, whatever you want to drop in the comments below. Let me know. Let's talk about this PLE. Money in the Bank is one of my favorites throughout the year, every year, because it's in the summer, which is always awesome. I love summer, and ladder matches are great. On stupid reasons, but more so, it does give you a glimpse into who WWE is like really high on and who they want to potentially make a future world champion on the men's and women's side. So I think that's always pretty interesting as well. So excited for this, excited to get back on here on Saturday night and react, and can't wait to see what happens, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hoping for a LA Knight win. I am picking him and pulling for him to win. So yeah, let's go LA Knight. And let's see if I go 4 for 4. 4 matches. Thank you, Triple H. It's going to be great. 4 matches. And let's see if I go 4 for 4. See you guys later. Peace.